Good morning, YouTube family. Today we are talking about safety. Now, I know that I've said before that I have 10 years military experience, 7 years as a police officer, that experience. So the given would kind of be that my safety tips would gear towards having weapons. And I want to start off and preface this video that will be one of the last tips that I give, because we want to do preventative measures and we want to be active and not reactive. So if you have to pull out your weapon, if you have to show your weapon, use it, all of the other tips did not work. So we want to have so many things that we can do to prevent having to use the weapon that you never have to get there in the first place. Allow the fear to be present. Many people message me and they're like, I'm so scared. I really want to do it, but I'm fearful. And one thing I will say about fear is we should honor that fear, because fear is there to protect us, is there to keep us aware, and just to make us mindful of certain things. It's never there to cripple us. However, sometimes it's not always our fear. Sometimes it's other people's fear that we allow to cripple us. So have you ever been talking to your parents or your friends or watching TV and they're like, oh no, you're a woman, you shouldn't do this, or oh no, it's not safe, or it's so much going on in the world, you shouldn't travel solo? That's because they have adapted that societal programming that keeps them in fear. And even though I'm sure they're 100% happy for you wanting to do this, they're so programmed to be in fear that they can't even say, I'm happy for you, you should go do it. It's like word vomit, but aren't you scared? They're projecting their fears onto you. And if you aren't aware, you will consume that fear and then it will manifest in your reality and you don't even own it. They own that fear and you've allowed them to give it to you. So it's very imperative that you stay mindful of, is this truly your fear? Is your fear trying to show you and tell you something to be aware of? Or is this somebody else's fear who has emotionally projected onto you? So stay mindful of the fear, but don't let it control you. As I traveled the United States, I had a beautiful time, but there were a lot of huge lessons that I learned. And one of the biggest lessons was my planning as a Black woman has to be impeccable. And I want to be very clear that when I say this, that I'm not giving a message to be divisive, but I am going to tell my story. And whoever that resonates with is who that's supposed to resonate with, and whoever that's for is exactly who it's supposed to be for. One of the biggest lessons I learned is to do impeccable research on the towns that I'm going into, or the towns that I have to drive by, or the towns that I have to sleep in. Not just the campsite. What I'm talking about is when I'm driving from one destination and to get to the next city, I have to drive through all of those podunk back towns. And so I had an experience when I was going to Oregon to chase waterfalls. Don't go chasing waterfalls. The second I drove into my campsite, I saw Nazi flags, Confederate flags. I also see Trump flags and American flags. Those, definitely didn't bother me. But the Nazi flags and the Confederate flags, those are clear racial signs that you are not welcome. And I have never been that terrified, that scared, that angry, that sad in my entire life. But I don't know where I am. I've driven for 6 hours today. The sun is about to go down. I need somewhere to go. And so that brings me to my next tip is you have to do impeccable research on the spaces that you're going, And Google, look up, what is the racial tension in this town? What is the racial history in this town? What is the population number? What does the population look like? Is this a diversified population? Because if you go into a town and you need help and you have these clear flags that you are not welcome, who are you going to ask for help? That was the first realest experience that I've ever had, that solidified that my experience in traveling as a Black woman is not the same as anybody else's experience. There's another layer to safety that I have to be very aware of. There's another level of safety and research that I have to do to make sure that when I go into certain places, I have a full tank of gas already, even if I have to have an extra tank of gas in my trunk. Knowing how to do or fix your own tire. Having AAA is huge. It's very important that the research is done thoroughly. And I know, if you're driving from state to state, you don't want to have to stop and do research on every little town that you're going to drive through. The whole purpose of being aware of your surroundings is being aware of what you could possibly come in contact with. And again, this message is not to be divisive. That is just my experience. And there are a lot of women that follow me, and we have different experiences. And that is completely, actually, it's not okay. It's not okay, but it is what it is. And until we get to a place to where our experiences can be equal, it is necessary for me to share my experience so other people do not have to experience what I experienced. Staying aware of your surroundings is one of the hugest things that people completely forget. If you are in an area that you are excited to be in, and we're taking selfies and things like that, and we're in our phones and we're looking around at the distance, but people can tell tourists. Just like as a police officer, in my mind, I'm walking around. Of course, I've been in a uniform since I was 18, so it's not really a deal to me, but people notice. People notice you. They're watching you. And if you are a tourist, you got your camera out, your phone all out, people are watching. And so you have to be aware of your surroundings. You always keep your head on a swivel. You are always looking around. You're always checking your surroundings. You are always being mindful of the people that are walking by. I don't care if somebody walks by and says good morning. You're mindful, okay, that was a male. He had on a purple jacket. He had on this, he had on that. Just in case anything happens and you have to give a description. So it's imperative that you are paying attention to who is passing you by. What is the reaction that you're getting? And also, being in tune with yourself when you're traveling to where you can follow your intuition, because your intuition will tell you, okay, this doesn't feel safe, or maybe we shouldn't stay here, or maybe I shouldn't talk to this person. When you are in tune with yourself, you can also be more in tune with your surroundings, and it'll be easier for you to be guided by your intuition as opposed to just going off of excitement, wanting to get a great picture. When it comes down to safety, it is necessary that you are being very aware of your surroundings and allowing your intuition to guide you. Before you even start your day, doing a quick meditation, getting in tune with yourself, and focusing on what your body is trying to tell you. Where does your body want to go? Where does your intuition want to take you? Where does it want to guide you today? Those things are necessary to be in tune with so you can be guided to make smarter and safer decisions. My next tip is to never share your location. You don't have to share where you are while you're there. I've had situations to where people have tried to pop up on me. Like, hey, I'm at the Golden Gate, where you at? And I'm like, ah, that's what your ass get, because I was at the Golden Gate 5 days ago. People will try to pop up on you. So when you go places, it's okay to take all the pictures you want, take all the videos you want, and then post them after you leave. Some people are from those towns. A lot of people know what certain things are. You can post a sign on the road and they're like, oh, look, I know where that is. You don't have to post where you are as you're there. Wait to post the information, because there are widows who will come out and be like, hey. And you gonna be like, how'd you find me? Oh, I saw you here on Instagram. Don't do it. Wait to post it after you leave. Cleo is my dog, my German Shepherd. She is my first level of protection. And remember when I was talking about being in tune with your intuition? Cleo is 100% in tune with her intuition. So she's gonna see it before I see it, she's gonna hear it before I hear it, and she's gonna feel it before I feel it. So I make sure that no matter what I'm doing, Cleo is there and she's present. And I make sure that she's in a space to where she can see all things around me. Like now she's right here by my side and she's connected to her leash, but she is actively listening. She ain't paying no attention to what I'm saying. She is looking all out of the van. She's gotten in and out of the van a few times since I started recording, and she looks around the whole surroundings. That is her job. So that's another level of security that I have. My last and final tip is about weapons. I think you should carry whatever weapon you are comfortable with, and you should carry many of them. Now, one thing that I will say is, if you are a person that wants to carry a gun, you should make sure that whatever states you are going into, every state has different gun laws, so you may not be able to do that. You need to find out the information, do your research, call local law enforcement, and ask them. For instance, like when I go to different states or countries, I may not always be able to take my gun with me, but there's always a store that I can quickly go into and buy a pocket knife or buy some type of hatchet or something like that. It's important to know that if something were to happen here, then maybe I can go here, or something could happen there, maybe I could go here. You know, there's so many different places and nooks and crannies where you should be able to keep things to make sure that you feel safe at all given times that you're traveling. So, and it does not have to just be a gun. There are many things that you can have. There's pepper spray, there's stun guns, there's pocket knives, there are hatchets, machetes. I mean, there are all kinds of things that you can use to protect yourself. You just need to make sure that you have them in abundance around your van, and that also you know the different escape routes that you can take through your van, just to be aware and mindful of how you would protect yourself if the time comes that you ever had to protect yourself. It is imperative that you are aware of these things, so when you do travel, you can have the best and most pure experience possible. We don't have to travel in fear. The purpose of fear is just to make us aware. So once the fear creeps in, it's like, thank you, fear. But now that I'm aware, I can make conscious decisions. And I hope that my video brought that to you guys. So follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have great travels, that you're safe, and thank y'all for watching.